What's going on, everybody? It is 8 p.m. on the East Coast. It's Tuesday night. That means it's Proper Royals Live. That is Bruno. Yeah, that one. It is Bruno and Zane from B&Z EXOTICZ out there in the desert in Scottsdale. It's beautiful out there. We're going to talk about Scottsdale. We're going to talk about ball pythons, everything, of course, but partnerships in the ball python hobby. And then these guys got some pretty killer recessives I want to talk about as well. Of course, audience chat and, our usual shenanigans. I'll give you an update on what's going on in the world of Proper Royals. And I got an announcement for next week's show, which is pretty killer. You guys ready?
Yes, we're ready.
All right, we're going to hit the music. Let's do this thing. Guys, what's going on? Thank you all for being here.
How's it going, man?
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, my pleasure. I first your logo caught my attention, and then of course your snakes caught my attention. So B&Z EXOTICZ, that's Bruno and Zane. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
so,
all right.
Not a too complicated of a name.
Very cool. Very cool. And you guys are out in, I said it earlier, but you guys are out in Scottsdale, right?
Yep.
Scottsdale, Arizona.
Very good. Very good. So before we get too deep into you guys, I got to make a couple quick notes here real quick. First off, Jeremy Warfel's one of my buddies, been a good guest to the show, a good friend to me and all that. Hey, blessings for your daughter. I hope she's well, and I'm glad it doesn't sound like it was too much, Jeremy. And good to see everybody in the audience tonight. And any of the B&Z subscribers that are here tonight from Instagram, thank you all very much as well. Big news in the Proper Royals world. We got over 1,000 subscribers last night. Pretty cool. And so that was a big deal on YouTube. I'll tell a funny story at some point about that with how like you get to 1,000 and like you expect this big thing. And anyway, I'll tell a little bit about that later. Those of y'all, before anybody clicks away, even if you're watching the replay, next Tuesday, which is February 1st, we talked about it on the show last week, the Ball Python Genetics Project, where the researchers at the University of Michigan are working on mapping out the ball python genome and all the different genes. That doctor, the lead of the study, is going to be on the show next week, Dr. Hannah Seidel. I am like blown away that she's going to be here. And she hasn't exactly told me this, but I get the feeling that we have like 1 hour. So next week we're starting at 8 o'clock. We're like 7:59, no show intro. We're getting right to it. And then I'll do the fun show afterwards. But Dr. Hannah Seidel next week from University of Michigan Ball Python Genetics Project. She'll be on here. So don't miss that. Pretty cool things that she's doing in the hobby. So guys, thanks for sitting through my intro. Tell us about what you're working on at B&Z. Give us the stats. Like, what's your breeding stock? What's your goals? What have you been at it at? Like, just give us the overall rundown.
All right. Well, I mean, I can kind of kick us off. So we haven't been doing it for too long. We kind of got started right before COVID started.
Cool.
I decided to do a little career change. And while I was figuring out what my next move was going to be, I kind of started watching a lot of YouTube on ball pythons and stuff and decided to get one as a pet.
Yeah.
I got one, and he actually came over like maybe a few days after I got my first one, and was into it and really liked it, but it was kind of scared. So it was cool to kind of go through with him, like teaching him a little bit more about them and working to get over the fear. And then he got so into it, and we're like watching Billy and Will Moros and all these people with really cool businesses, really. And we're like, hey, why don't we start one between the two of us and kind of give our own shot at it? And it kind of snowballed from there.
That was before COVID or once COVID had started?
That was right before COVID had started.
Like February.
Yeah, February before COVID. It was like kind of like right about to hit. So
yeah, my timeline was like April. Matter of fact, I remember it was that April. We didn't we didn't know anything about it. That like it was like, remember, it was like you couldn't touch your face, like you didn't know any, like it was just like, it was like, anyway, we've all talked about COVID for 2 years, but yeah, I remember. So I kind of got going in April that year of 2020. Very cool.
Yes, nice. So we're about kind of going at the same speed then.
Yeah, I was definitely not having it at first, but it's really cool to learn and just see these ball pythons grow right in front of your eyes, and it's been really fun.
Yeah. Now, all right. So, and I don't want to jump the gun here. I got to ask about that though here in a little bit. So, and what's the connection between you guys? You friends, brothers? What's good? What's the story here?
Yeah, we've been friends since high school. We met in high school.
Yeah, like brothers pretty much at this point. We've lived together before.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, going into a partnership is kind of difficult for a lot of people, but I think between us, we have so much trust. He has a key to my place, like, yeah. So it's kind of one of those friendships to where it's not a true business partnership. We're 50-50 in the business, no matter what's going on.
Yeah. I was going to ask about some of that. So where do you all, where do the snakes stay? How do you guys work through your decision making on where you want to go? You know, if you want to, I know some people don't want to talk finances, and I'm not looking for like specifics, but where do you choose to apply resources, that kind of thing?
No, I mean, I'm definitely open to talking about it. I think it's been cool for us. Just, I think because we're so close, that's why I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for everybody.
Yeah,
it's got to be the right people, like the right two people to go into a partnership for sure. But I think we're pretty flexible in terms of all of that stuff. There's nothing really concrete that we have set in stone in writing. We both contributed different amounts of money in different places at different times, and we just kind of do what we both can for the business, I think.
Well, we also live very, very extremely close to each other, literally walking distance for the first year and a half. So that made it super easy.
Yeah.
But right now we're kind of both in a transition point where I actually just recently bought a new place. He's going to be getting a new place next week. So we've had it kind of half and half in the beginning. Right now we have everything right here. So it's kind of, we have a whole separate just snake room.
Yeah.
Now with my new place that I have, we're going to probably transfer everything into my spare room, which will be the new snake room. So we've been getting more space and making it work, because we didn't expect how much space we actually initially needed, huh?
Yeah, it just keeps growing the amount of space we
need. None of us did, right? We all thought one little 10-gallon tank would be fine, and now we got, tubs to the ceiling. Right. So how many snakes do y'all have? What's your and are they breeding, like you're breeding in holdback stocks?
So we're at 32 total snakes right now. We do have one still for sale, so 31 for our collection pretty much. We are also doing a giveaway, or a couple of giveaways on Instagram. So
tell us about it.
We haven't announced them yet, but once we hit 2,000 followers, we're going to give away an OD banana double het clown pied male, and then we're going to do another giveaway at, I think, or once we hit 3,000, I'm sorry, and then we're going to do a giveaway at 3,000, and then the giveaway for another snake at 5,000, and then I think another one at 10,000. So we'll see what we do there. But so we're looking at about 29 total breeder animals right now. Yeah. We did get lucky though with COVID. I don't know if you saw the clutches that we hatched already, but we've hatched 3 clutches so far. So I think with COVID happening, there was a lot of people that obviously had to liquidate assets, and we were able to pick up an OD pied produced by Justin JKR, and then we got a leopard Mojave spot nose het clown female that they were both just under breeding size, but apparently trouble eaters and kind of like they had bad attitudes according to the previous owner. We were able to take them in and get them going, and they did great for us. So we got some really nice clutches out of those females. And then
I don't know if I've seen the hatchlings, but I've seen some of your collection. I actually got some notes on that. So just obviously I would guess just one breeding season under your belt, or right out of the gate were you breeding immediately?
No, yeah. So we had to wait almost a full calendar year to get our first clutch. But now we got our first clutch, and now we have, I think, 7 females that could be paired this year, depending on what we can figure out with our males.
Man, we're right. It's so amazing, the parallels. So I've got 27. I got 27 snakes here, and then actually I worked out a deal this week. I've got a couple female pieds coming as well. So all right, so I'll be at 29 kind of thing, and I've got actually only plans to buy one more snake this year, but I've already exceeded my plan by 2 snakes this year. And we're only 25 days into the year, so. But anyway, I'm planning on just hitting right at 30. I've got 8 females that are breeding, you know, hopefully they all go, you know, and we all know that may or may not happen. So yeah, it really, really incredible parallels on where we're at there.
It is very
so
cool.
We were talking off air really, really briefly before the show. Where have you found your success, or have you found any success yet in selling? And how do you, is it Morph Market? Is it Instagram? Is it word of mouth? Is it Craigslist rodeo? What are you guys doing?
We've seen a little bit of all of it. We don't list on anywhere other than Morph Market, and then we post on Instagram. But we've had a few word of mouth sales from friends. That was more on the lower end stuff that we produced. Our first clutch was kind of like our tester clutch, if you will. It was like a OD Enchi to a banana black pastel het ghost male. So
yeah, that's still a lot going on. That's cool.
It was a fun pairing for sure, but it was compared to what we have coming down the pipeline, it was just something to kind of like test out our equipment, make sure we knew what we were doing, and not gonna, you know, screw anything up. So
it's a hard balance, because you want to do it right and you want to care for a live animal and show that respect. But on the other hand, there's some things that you just learn by doing. You just have to you have to do it. And I don't care how many YouTube videos you watch, there's gonna be surprises. And I learned that just on 2 clutches. So I mean, you know,
exactly. I think experience is always going to be the best teacher. You can read about doing something, you can hear someone else telling you how they've done it, but until you get your hands dirty and do anything, you're not gonna know for yourself whether you can or can't do it. So it was pretty awesome for us to go through the motions, and we had our doubts when we started. So for anybody that's getting into it and is kind of like doubting whether you can, I think it's important to do your research and make sure you're doing everything you can to arm yourself with the information, but also trust yourself and take the steps and keep doing the next steps, because even if you do fail, that failure should be a lesson that show you how to succeed in the future.
And I think there's some expression out there about, you know, you do all the little things right repeatedly and really great result, you know, the big great results happen. And I think that's just the perfect, you know, the ball pythons are just the perfect example of that, man. You figure out your humidity, you figure out how to get your snakes eating, you figure out how to clean and make sure that you got the time for them. And then one day you're going, man, I got 30 happy animals. Then suddenly they're breeding because they're happy. They're, you know, you're getting to know each one. When, I mean, feeding gets quicker because, you know, like, I don't know about you guys, but I could tell right away if one of mine's going to eat or not. There's no, and I don't want to turn this show into an argument over or a debate over frozen thawed or live, but I feed frozen and people are like, that takes forever. I'm like, it doesn't take forever, man. Either it eats or it doesn't. I don't sit there and hope it does. Like mine are conditioned, and I'm good. So, and everybody's example is different, and everybody's setup is different. You know, you got to figure out your own world. But yeah, doing all those little things right and just sticking with it and finding that rhythm, and you kind of get your. It's almost like, are they training us or are we training them? Like, I don't know about you guys, but I've got like.
Yeah, you get your habits down, and to that point too. I mean, like you can go and try and emulate anybody that you want, and try and do it how everybody else does it. But you'll find your own way to do it as you go about doing those types of things, and you'll find your own rhythm. And everyone, as you can tell, there's 1,000 different ways that people tell you to set up your hot spot and your ambient temperatures, and everybody gets clutches. Everybody has healthy animals, as long as they're caring for them, you know, in the way that they know how, and getting those results. It's because they're caring for the animals well enough. So I think it's funny how people kind of die on a hill for something when there's plenty of examples of people doing it different ways.
You know, that's in business, that's in life. It's amazing what people will just, you're right. Die on a hill is a great expression, man. It is amazing what they will do to just pick a fight or to debate you. Like, and I don't know, maybe they care that much, but it can be done a million different ways, you know?
Well, that's what's cool is there's so much information out there. The community has been so great, and whenever we have a question, we have been able to find an answer, whether it's from the Discord or some local guy that we know who lives down in the next city away. It's just everyone has so much different experience, and the amount of information we've received from everybody in the community has been a lot.
How strong is the scene around there? Like, I know that, the internet scene is easy to reach. Like, it's amazing. I'm talking to guys in Scottsdale, and I'm in Florida right now, but I just moved back to Jacksonville. I was not dumbfounded, but really, really surprised. There's some amazing breeders around here that totally under the radar. There's a guy, right, like you say, just a little town down the road, like still in Jacksonville. And he's just, oh, by the way, posting pictures of his double recessives that he's banging out, visuals. And I'm like, how? Dude. And I'm trying to get him on the show. It's going to happen. But
yeah, to that point, like I got lucky enough to we were doing Frozen Thought forever, and we got lucky enough to find a really nice rat supplier for us out here.
Nice.
And he mentioned that he bred ball pythons, was very casual about it. And I posted a male that we picked up, and he was like, "Oh wow, I just hatched a DG clown." Like, very casually. I just hatched a DG
you did,
clown.
yeah.
Oh, wow, I didn't even know you had DG clown stuff in your collection.
You didn't think you could mention that in one of your many rat deliveries, right?
So yeah, there's a pretty
big scene. Yeah, we've been to a few reptile shows already, and we met a handful of people through that, obviously, and there was a bunch of people there when we were kind of surprised with how many people were at this convention. Here down in Mesa.
I think local kind of interactions for us over here has been, I think, a little bit hindered because of COVID and everything, right? Everyone's walking around with masks and stuff at the shows, and unfortunately, we didn't have our merch done by the time the shows we had gone to rolled around. So we didn't. Yeah, our uniforms.
How is the what's the atmosphere? I mean the literal like meteorological atmosphere there in Scottsdale. So very dry climate, of course, very little rain. I'm guessing incredibly low humidity, and I'm guessing you fight with that often.
So we haven't found too many issues with it. We don't do anything special outside of the shed cycle to supplement humidity. The cocoa, we get very moist, obviously, when we break it down, but that goes away in a few days.
Okay.
And all the snakes seem to do fine with, I would say around 20-30% humidity for the most part.
How much do you have to condition your air inside? You get the hot daytimes and the low nighttime temps, right?
Yeah, we're all, I think, especially during the summer, the AC is always on anyway. So
yeah,
we run the room at ambient of 78, so it's not too much to kind of air condition it down to 78, not at least what we're used to.
Yeah,
so it's not too bad. And then during the summer, just pump a little bit of heat when it needs, but we just try to keep it around 78 all the time.
During the summer or the winter?
Oh, both.
On the heat.
I just leave it at 78 all year round.
Yeah. Does it get cold enough in the summer though to have to turn on the heat at night? No, I wasn't sure about
it's still over 100 at night.
Yeah, still yeah.
It can be over 100 sometimes.
Yeah,
average 95.
Yeah, I never knew about the elevation. I was in. Hang on just a second. We got 26 people really fast, guys. If you all weren't here at the beginning of the show, first, Mark is really cool to say thanks for getting monetized. It's a little bit of a saga. We'll work through that, but it's going to happen, or it has happened. I got it where I need to be. But with 26 of y'all here, next week from the University of Michigan Ball Python Genetics Project, Dr. Hannah Seidel is the guest on the show next week. Go ahead and mark it. There's 26 of you. Come back. We got to start right at 8 o'clock. She has a tight schedule. So back to and our guests tonight, B&Z EXOTICZ is Bruno and Zane out in Scottsdale. We were just talking about temperatures and that stuff. So I spent like 6 or 8 weeks in Scottsdale in 2008. And Zane, I caught you off air saying that you have a tie to working at a country club. What club do you guys? Did you both work at a club or not?
No, just me.
Where do you work at?
It's a golf club called Silver Leaf Country Club.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I was at I was at TPC Scottsdale.
Nice.
When I was out there is why I was there. I worked for the PGA Tour for about 5 years, and I'm based here in Jacksonville out of Sawgrass. But they flew me out, and Scottsdale is a wonderful place to be stuck for 6 or 8 weeks, especially with your meals and being put up, paid for. That was fantastic. It was really good. But I was amazed. You go from Scottsdale in March where, 85, 90 degrees out on the golf course, and 2 hours you could be in Flagstaff skiing.
Yeah.
Bunker. Yeah. For a guy from the East Coast, the highest point in Florida is 600 feet. That doesn't comprehend, man. I can't get on a roller coaster in 2 hours, much less go snow skiing. It was.
Yeah. I went to college up in Flagstaff, and that's why I went there, is because it was such a vast change in such a short time, and
it's incredible, man.
Because of that reason, if there wasn't a mountain 2 hours away from me, I probably never would have been stepped on a ski or snowboard before. But yeah, It's super weird. You just drive 2,000 feet up in elevation, and you're there.
I was just in Sedona this past weekend, and we saw snow.
Yeah, I was going to say, on that drive to Flagstaff was Sedona and Oak Creek Canyon right in there is gorgeous, man. Yeah, it's a fantastic drive. We were talking off air again with the audience, but I'll be out in Tucson picking up a truck and coming back on a road trip. But that's the kind of trip I'm like, do I need to drag it out and head north and hit Flagstaff and go to Colorado, or do I need to hit Austin and hit the music scene? And then either way, I got to end up back in Florida. So
if you come to Scottsdale, you might be able to hit the Waste Management Open, or whatever they call it now, because that's about to happen soon.
I want no part of that stuff anymore.
It's about to be crazy around here.
It's a good time, man.
Yeah. For those of y'all that don't know, in the golf tournament world, so I worked 5 Players Championships. We got the 17th hole here. You guys have the 16th there at the Waste Management?
Yeah.
And for people that don't know, they built stadiums, literal stadiums around these holes. And I'll just talk about 17. So the green of 16, all of 17, and then the tee box of 18 are one huge stadium here at Sawgrass. And I bet there's 40,000 people around it. But Waste Management, well, you guys are 70 just around the green at 16, right?
Right.
Yeah, and then there's tents and parties going on everywhere. No one's there to watch golf.
Nobody's watching golf. It's just ridiculous. Kiss may as well be playing with fireworks while these guys are trying to be trying to play golf. So, anyhow, all right. So back to the ball pythons. I don't know how much you all have checked out any of my content or anything, but I'm a nut for recessives. I joke one of these episodes a couple weeks back. I was counting my doms and codoms, and I was like, it's only 5 or 6, but my recessives, I have 10 or 11 or 12 genes going. So let's talk recessives for a minute. I see you got clowns, pieds, desert ghost, and then let's set this one aside for just a second. I saw something called paint. Why I want to say I want to set it aside is I'm not familiar with it. I want to talk about that. But what other recessives do you have going, or is that all of them for right now?
So yeah, our main focus going forward is the DG Clown Pied project. Okay. Hypo, we have a lot of hypo, so hopefully working hypo into that eventually. But DG Clown Pied we started off with Clown Pied, and then Desert Ghost was a little bit, kind of pricey for what we were looking to do in the beginning, and now we're kind of in the place where we're investing more into the business. And
yeah, and so you said Clown Pied. Do you have a visual Clown Pied, or you have?
Not yet. So the closest we hatched a female banana clown, or banana pied het clown, from our pied clown pairing, or pied to our clown pairing, or clown het pied pairing. So
yeah,
we got really lucky with that female, and she's going to be a pretty big key for us going forward. We've looked into getting some visual clown pieds. I think that's going to be big for us if we can add that to the collection going forward. But our next step financially, I think, is making sure we have the space for everything that we have going on already, and getting the rest of the racks that we need. And
yeah, you got to keep all that in balance. It's you can't let one thing get out of hand. And then I don't remember if it was on air or off air, but yeah, you gotta. Oh yeah, we were talking about me buying tubs. Yeah, you can't go buying snakes and not have a place to put them, kind of thing. And I'm right at that maxed out point too. I build my racks. I'm going to build another rack for mine.
We built the hatchling rack, and it came out okay,
nice, yeah.
but we need to get. I would have to. It took a lot of time. I'm really busy with work. This is just kind of a hobby for me right now, and he is too. He has a pretty busy schedule, so
yeah,
and that we can buy back a little bit of time is awesome.
And that's true. I did a video past couple weeks, but one of the points in it was, what's your time worth? Does it make sense to just buy something? So there's some things that I've that'll be my fourth rack that I've built, and I've got my system down. Like I'm once the cuts are made, I'll have it ready to go right away. So it works for me.
Nice.
So tell me about the paint gene.
So paint, I mean, we got that female. We only have one female that's 50% het paint.
Okay.
So we haven't really dove into that project. Justin just put out a video actually with paint clowns, and it showed a lot about how that interacts with clown, obviously, and there was a pretty good reception for it. So I think the project has some good legs going forward. I really like how it's a pretty granite-y gene from what I understand.
Yeah.
It breaks up a little bit of the alien heads, and it seems like it's going to do quite a bit once it gets comboed out.
And that's recessive though, right?
It is. I mean, there's debate. So there's been debate whether it's recessive or a visual with a super.
Okay.
I guess it's so subtle that
I was just saying, so it's got the subtlety to it, huh?
Yeah. But it seems like the industry is leaning towards going with the recessive. It's also known as sentinel. So in Canada, it tends to get referred to as sentinel a lot more, but those two are compatible.
I've heard that. I have heard of that one, and I'm also not familiar with it, but I have heard of it.
So yeah, it's a cool gene. The single, like the full visual, the sentinel, if you will, or the paint, it's disrupted the pattern, but it's nothing like too crazy on its own. Mm-hmm. But I think once comboed out, like in a desert ghost clown, that will be a pretty awesome snake. So maybe somewhere down the road we can pick up a paint male and try and prove her out.
Yeah, see what's going on, or at least start making your own hets as well.
Yeah, some pos hets and hold some back. It's hard with these recessive projects though, because you need so much space. So she's 50% het, and if we wanted to kind of flesh that out, we would have to hold back pretty much everything she's producing to put back together with each other.
Yeah, I struggle. I love the recessives, but I struggle with, again, time, money equation, and goals and expectations. My first hurdle, and that's part of why I haven't really, first I love the recessives, but that's also part of why I haven't really messed too much with codoms and mixing those in, is mostly because I don't want to get distracted of like, oh, got to keep this, got to keep that, got to keep this and that. But my next big hurdle, and it might take me a couple seasons, is I want to get to where ideally I'm not producing any possible heads, both from what you're talking about, of what you can hold back, what's worth your time to keep, and what's worth, trying to prove things. I don't want that to be part of my life. This is vision, not like tomorrow. I don't have the resources to do it tomorrow.
And I think that's where getting a really good male comes in. So, if you could, I don't know what recessive project specifically you're working on, but for us, if we could get, like, obviously down the line, get a DG clown pied male, right? We're not going to produce any pos heads in that.
Yeah.
It's going to be.
Yeah. But I mean, that's, what's that, 15, 20 grand? You're,
yeah. If
you got to make it or you got to buy it kind of thing. Yeah. Hang on just a second. You off to bed, son?
Can I tell a joke?
No.
Okay. Nice.
Good night, son. Sweet dreams.
But what are your main focuses with recessives?
So the main one, which just happens to be kind of the resources that I have the most of by a little bit of luck, and I wouldn't say luck, good fortune maybe, is clown, and that's always pretty safe.
Best.
I won't say always. At the moment, it's pretty safe. It's fine to be producing clown. So clown and pied would be next, and then I've got a mix of males and females. To your point, you were just saying a moment ago, next season I think I'll be able to produce all either 100% single or 100% double hets with the combinations, or produce if they're not visuals. Of course, visuals are the most ideal, but clown, pied, lavender, candy, ghost, cryptic is in there. What else am I missing? Oh, axanthic is in there, and then so maybe it wasn't 10 or it was 7 right there. I'm sure there's a couple I'm missing. Those are the main ones, but I've got a mix of males and female visuals of both. None male and female visual that I'm pairing. So I'm always working right now with visual to het or het to het. And it's that het to het ballpark I got to get out of, man, both financially too. It just sucks the money right out, you know?
Yeah. And then the pos hets tend to sit a little bit longer, or tend to sit a lot longer in our experience. So I think there's definitely, I think that's the way the direction of the industry is going as well. I mean, hopefully your guest next week will be able to provide a little bit of insight to people with pos hets, because they'll be able to genetically test any pos and let you know if they are actual hets.
Yeah, the question on, and I don't want to go too far into it this week because we'll really dive into it next week. The question is, when does the cost come down to make sense? And like, I see it on a certificate of authenticity. Like, this is boom, boom, boom on the super high dollar ones, but the super high dollar ones, you're really not dealing in hets. Those are usually visuals that you can see. So, you know, what het are we going to pay X hundreds of dollars to get checked? And then if it doesn't prove, you know, I don't know. It's going to be a strange economy.
I agree. It's a gamble. I'm interested. I'm definitely going to tune in next week, because I'm definitely interested to see what she has to say about all of the market effects, because we've been talking about that. I'm in a few Discords. We're in a couple of Discords, and I've been able to, or there's been some conversation about the effects that the genetic testing is going to have, but we won't have to get into that. I know you got a whole thing next week.
Let's go the other way though for a minute, because I find it a little bit like fun and a little bit nostalgic to know that there's that mystery, like that it could be there. What's in there?
And the gamble, right? You get a cheaper animal that it's a little bit more expensive than what you actually got if it doesn't prove out, or if it proves out, you won it on a nice gamble. You got a really good payout. But
do we ever really want to not know in any business? Like we don't go buy a $20,000 car and go, maybe I got the V8. No, that doesn't, it doesn't happen. So, I mean, I know the answer is that it will be better. And especially from a business removing variables, improving consistency, predictable results standpoint. But part of that rodeo, I like that a little bit, man. I like it just a little bit. But I clearly got to let go of that, I think.
Part of the gambling in us, the gambling man in us.
Yeah, I pretty much can't go to a casino. That's tough. It doesn't work for me. You guys got some killer looking bananas. I've seen them for sale. I think you still have 2 like nice ones for sale too, right?
So we actually pulled a couple down for our giveaway, but we have one banana leopard clown still up. That's really, really nice example of banana leopard clown. Yeah.
Do you still have the banana spot nose, or is that the one that you're going to do a giveaway on?
No, so he actually sold. We sold him to a pretty cool customer. I think he's out in North Carolina, if I remember correctly. He's definitely out or Virginia. He's out there on the East Coast, but
gotcha.
Cooler guy, just getting into the ball python game, so he's excited to pick that male up. But I don't know, man. We got really lucky. The male that bred those clutches, the banana male that bred the clutches for us, he's a really nice male. We got him from Victoria's Tegan, or I'm saying her name wrong, from Victoria's Serpents, and she has some really nice stock. So we were able to get lucky, and he proved out het pied for us. He was 50% het, so he proved out het pied for us.
Nice.
Going to go this year to hopefully some visual hypos, and we can prove them out for hypo as well, hopefully.
Yeah. So those banana pieds that you have, did you produce all of those in your pictures, or you've picked up some banana pieds as well?
Nope, those were all out of the first clutch we got from that male.
Oh, hell of a first year! Nice, congratulations. They're beauties too.
That was awesome.
One of my main females. actually my female that has produced the most. She did produced a clutch of eight eggs last year, and she's at like 2,600 grams right now. She's a big girl. Is a banana, and just the sweetest thing. I really enjoy. Like that's one of the snakes. Like even if I stopped trying to make a business, I would just keep that one. She's just real special. But man, I know that the banana gene is sort of seen as played out a little bit. But if people saw those snakes that you guys are selling, I think it would change anybody's mind on that. So that's cool. Do you have any hypo bananas yet or not yet?
So not that we know of. The banana black pastel het hypo, I definitely think he's visual. I don't know. It's hard to tell. The spotting on him is really.
Sorry to interrupt. This is Kara, KNC Geckos. She's who I bought that. I didn't know she was in the Kara. I didn't know you were in the audience tonight. That she is who I bought that. That snake's name is Letty. She named her Letty, but I don't know what Letty was short for. So I make it short for Scarlet. But Letty, that's funny that Kara's here. Kara, she is doing awesome. She's going to be a mama again this year. I'm convinced she's doing all the right things. So, all right, sorry. So the hypo banana.
Yeah, I'm convinced that he's hypo. We haven't had a chance to prove him out yet. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. He was sold as a het hypo, but he's never really. I mean, I can even go grab him real quick. He's very dulled out, in my opinion, for a black pastel banana.
When you come back, I'll tell you why I was asking. John Ankleline says, we got a lot of viewers tonight. We do. We have 32. Thank you all for being here. That's pretty high on we're close to record level. I want to say 35, but I actually stopped tracking all of that. But thank you all for being here. If y'all didn't hear the announcement earlier, Dr. Hannah Seidel from the University of Michigan Ball Python Genetics Project next week, live on the show, 8 p.m. sharp. Tell us about this banana. You said sold as possible or het hypo, but you think he's visual.
Yeah, so he's 100% het hypo.
Okay.
He was from a hypo to het pairing, obviously, for him to be 100%. So it was, for me, I think, he's got, I don't know if you guys can see the color very well, but the spotting's very, very gray. His shed's pretty clear, or is clear. You don't see any pattern in his shed, which is supposed to be something that you can see in hypos, but it's hard to tell. It's really hard to tell. I've had a couple people look at him, and some people say he's hypo, some people say he's not. So we'll let the breeding kind of speak for itself, I guess. And
did you have some hatchlings or some juveniles that are het hypo that I saw posted on Instagram?
His were pos het hypo. His hatchlings, I believe.
Because you had a couple. Your picture on Instagram was two of them. Maybe I'll even find it. Your picture on Instagram was two of them together, and it really caught my eye because they look like the babies I produced this year.
On Instagram?
Yeah. Let me look here. Well, we got the dead air. You'll find it, but they were. Anyhow, I was just interested in seeing what you're seeing with them, and you answered one of my questions. I was going to ask if hypo bananas get the spots, but that one had the spots for sure.
Some people say that they don't, so that's part of the question that I'm hoping to answer when we finally breed them to a visual hypo.
Hey, Mark at 403 Fauna, he's got my hatchlings. It's his hatch. It's his snake. He paid for it. He has the hatchling that I produced from that clutch. And Mark knows the breeding history. I definitely sold it as a het clown. But there's just something weird in that clutch. And if I got to make it right down the road, I got to make it right down the road. Mark, does yours have spots on it yet? It's probably 4 months old. It's probably had 3 sheds by now. Mark, let us know. Does yours have spots on it yet? Some of mine from that clutch do. And then I've got one that it's got more of like a paradox look on it than a spot, And I don't know if that ties into bananas as well with their spots. Yeah, Mark has no spots yet. And his is just electric bright, man. And I thought it was from maybe it's het clown, het hypo. Maybe it's the het influence because the clown can have the white, the het clown can have that really white kind of glow to it. his is just a beautiful little electric girl of a banana. So it's possible because I had paired that female with a super Mojave ghost, and
Nice.
the babies aren't Mojaves though. So I mean, it's not. They would have to be Mojave if they were ghosts. So now I'm one, but the mom was het ghost. So I think he hit the double het maybe. I just gotta wait. That's that gambling. That's that like wait, that anticipation that like.
And it's so, it's so abstract. There's people that say, oh, there's markers, like you said, like you can see the het clown influence, and then there's some people that say no, you can't. And
yeah,
it's
I conveniently keep my feet in both camps. When I see it, I want to, say it's there. And when I can't, I'm like, I know it's that. I bred it, so I know it's there, but I don't see it,
Yeah.
Yeah, John says banana Mojave doesn't have spots. I would have to let Mark speak for himself. In my opinion, there is zero Mojave in those babies is what's throwing me off. But again, the mom is het hypo, as I understand. I haven't quite proven her out yet. So anyway, we'll see. When I saw you guys had that in your collection, I was like, we're going to talk about those banana ghosts here tonight.
Yeah, hopefully we get some answers here soon in the next couple of seasons.
Yeah, and I know that you all will as well. And I'm sorry, I get distracted trying to keep up with the comments.
I understand, man. It's tough.
Yeah. No, well, and there's new faces too. This is great. Las Vegas Ball Pythons is new.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome. I haven't seen y'all before. And there was somebody earlier. It seemed like maybe they knew you all. Mac, somebody. Mr. Mac. I don't. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't remember.
Very cool. Thanks for stopping in, everybody.
What's that?
I was just saying thank you. Thanks for everybody that stopped in. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and you know what? Let me type a comment so I can post it up for you all. Some quick stats on Bruno and Zane. B&Z EXOTICZ on Instagram is the handle, and they're up just over 2,000. No, right at 2,000, right? I mean, 1,900?
Very close.
Yeah. So they're at 2,000 followers doing some killer stuff there. We got above and below, says they're new to the channel. Thank you all for being here. It's just amazing. There's just new Mason Johnson. How are you, man? Thank you for being here. It's a crazy community. I'm still blown away that I can sit in a converted garage with a purple light behind me and I first get to hang out with cool people. And here we are talking about stuff that we, discovered 2 years ago kind of thing, but also with all these folks. And I learn a ton. The community is really killer. So, what's your favorite pairing for this year? What are you guys looking like talking about? DNA tests will never cure the gamble of the egg odds. That'll be sacred. We'll always have that. Right. So what's on your mind the most?
It's a tough question, man. We kind of dropped the ball a little bit, I think, for this season.
Oh no, what happened?
So, well, nothing too major. We have our banana clown het pied male that we can obviously run to all the females that are ready this season. But we did pick up a pastel desert ghost double het clown pied male with the intention of hopefully catching some clutches at the end of the year. But it's looking like we probably are going to need to start pairing before he's ready.
Yeah.
So I am working the lines a little bit, trying to see what I can figure out for a breeder male from some friends.
Oh, cool.
And, maybe we can work something out that's a little bit more powerful for us. Like you mentioned earlier, as much as I love the bananas that we produced, now that we have it on the female side, I'd like to work it on that side and avoid making any male maker bananas if we can. They just not as popular, and I'd like to.
Yeah, I mean, when you start looking at things from a business standpoint, you do start making those decisions. That if I just had time and money to kill, I would love all the possible hets in the world. I'd just be winging it, and I would just have, I would just plan not to die for the next 30 years and figure it out. But there's a lot more to it. I get it on the female makers and the male makers. I'm lucky that breeder female, obviously any males she produces are going to be female makers, and then female bananas are popular too. So I like that. where I'm at. Have you seen? There's a channel. He only makes like maybe 3-4 videos a year. There's a guy named Joe in Austin. Ball Python's 9. He might be watching for all I know. He does some killer super banana stuff and super banana clowns that are just got me back into. I was like, I don't care if people think bananas are outplayed. Like between what the kind of stuff you guys were producing with those the clowns and the spot nose, and then what he's doing with the super banana inchy clowns, it was the pinkest, orangest, cleanest banana I've ever seen, man. It was incredible.
It is awesome. And like I said, I think we'll always work banana, but it'll be more advantageous for us to work it from the female side and keep it going from there. And then, yeah, maybe make some supers down the line.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what we can find. We might run a few clutches with the banana clown het pie to prove out if he's hypo. But other than that, I think it's kind of up in the air what we're going to pair. We do have some really nice females, though. Hopefully we do have an orange dream, pastel orange dream weirdo het puzzle that we want to put to our yellow belly het puzzle female.
So you got a puzzle going in your collection too, then.
And that's the only puzzle project we have right now. So hopefully we can hit some nice odds on that and produce some holdbacks to really expand our puzzle game. But I think that male hopefully should be ready towards the end of the season. So as long as that female doesn't get out of her cycle too early, we should be able to get that clutch in too for sure. So that should be exciting.
That makes sense.
Yeah, if I get things work out the way that I want to, I think I mentioned earlier, I have one more snake on the list for this year. Everybody's joking, like, yeah, let him get a rack. You'll have 100 more snakes. But I have one more snake on the list, but I want a clown pied male. I want a double visual male. And then with the other visual recessives, then I could be producing clutches of triple het, 100% triple hets that hopefully other breeders can use, and hopefully there's a demand for that. And I mean, I was going to say I don't want to flood the market. I don't think I have the capability to flood the market. I'm really not worried about that. It's a big enough hobby. But
and that's the thing. Everyone needs that little puzzle piece to their collection. You never know who's going to need what.
Right. And they're always going to need recessives are always going to be harder just by the nature of the genetics of it. Not that everybody can't do it, but they're going to take more to do. And that's sort of my vision is all those recessive puzzle pieces to help people move along when they need various double combos or want to take a shot with hets kind of thing. It's kind of my business mode at the moment.
Yeah. And that's a fun part too, is it's kind of like the trickle down that some of the bigger breeders talk about. So I'm buying from Justin and Ozzy and Will, and then we're going to sell to people that, will eventually go buy from them as well. But they're taking steps. I bought from breeders that were buying from them, and now I'm buying from them. So it's kind of cool the way it trickles down, and you help people kind of get started on investing into their collection a little bit more. Has been really fun getting to learn our customers and meeting really cool new people. Yeah,
I'm excited for hopefully return customers, of course, from a business standpoint, but that's really not what I'm talking about. Getting to see what other people get to do. Mark's got his own channel, 403 Fauna, if you guys check that out. And actually, Laughing Boy 82, they have their own channel as well. Cosmic Serpents 187, I think, is the number. You guys, Chuck and Anna, y'all can post that. But they picked up some snakes from me along the way, and I'm excited to see what they do with it. And Mark's a school teacher, so one of those babies is in the class. That's the classroom pet. So so I get to see him introduce the I call them kids. They're older kids, but the students to the snakes and see them come around on it, which is really cool. Cosmic Serpents 137. Sorry, guys.
Nice. Okay, very cool. Yeah, I think that's kind of what gave us a little bit of motivation. I think in the beginning was seeing how many people are very much afraid of these animals, or it's an irrational fear, right? So when I got over my fear, it was cool to help him get over his fear, and now helping other people do that has been really, really fun. And then there's a business out of it too. They're cool paint jobs to go with. It doesn't get much better than that. No, and I agree with you. Throw kids into that mix where it's even more fun to just see their big eyes go up, So
Yeah, that's really very cool.
It's funny to see how some of our friends even started acting like kids when they hold some of these snakes. That's like, they've never done it before. It's kind of skeptical at first, and then they have a smile from year to year, just wanting to come over every week and hold their snake.
Yeah, there's a mystique and a it's weird because it's this whole like mythology around snakes that that we're like inundated with from childhood, whether by religion, whether by the Discovery Channel with the because there's no like just they don't put
cartoons when you're a kid. The snake is evil. The snake's always evil. They always represent something bad.
Right.
Human history. So it is cool to kind of be on the other side of that, especially when they're such nice and giving it. They're not animals that need to be feared at all. They help our economy or ecology. Like they're great animals for the planet, and they're also really nice pets. So
yeah, and these ball pythons are really what I can speak to. Actually, corn snakes I had some in college. They were a little bit of a handful just because of their ability to they're escape artists, those things. But but I think even ball pythons are just such a great entry level pet for people. Like the rate of success is so high could be the ability to succeed is so high if people will put in the time and the effort and the money on it. So so what's the next step for from hobby to business? So you guys at a point where you want to see like are you doing stuff on your taxes? Are you claiming expenses yet or not yet, or where are you at on that?
So this will be the first year that we really get into that. We incorporated everything last year,
cool.
But we haven't really set up all the financial stuff yet. We do
have a CPA who.
We're gonna have everything handled by a CPA who handles stuff for my other business. So it should be pretty straightforward. But for me, I plan to keep it kind of at a hobby level or on a lower. I don't want to be producing in really big numbers, at least for the foreseeable future. But if it does continue to grow at the rate that it has, I think if Zane wants to take on the responsibility of running the business more and more on the day-to-day, that's something that we talk about down the road. But for me, it'll always kind of be a boutique hobby type of thing.
Yeah. So you talked about another business. If you want to share information on that, you can. But really my question is, how did you find the knowledge from having a different business apply to this one? Did it make it easier? Like, because I remember feeling overwhelmed or I see the overwhelm in people's eyes where they're like, I can't do all that. I'm like, you can. It becomes habitual and it becomes a learned skill. And it's just like studying or just like, any work that we do. It all seems overwhelming to somebody that doesn't do it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think so. The experience I gained through my other work, I started a digital marketing company with my brother around the same time that we launched this. So that was my main focus, and we kind of built that out a lot faster and obviously put a lot more energy into that. But I took a lot of the lessons I learned from building that out and was able to kind of provide us a little bit more legitimacy, I think, getting us the logos and everything kind of built out.
Social media.
Doing the social media, doing all that. So
then from a market, wearing your marketing hat, almost literally probably, but what made you take the focus of Instagram versus YouTube, or maybe you do have a focus on TikTok, but what made Instagram kind of your baby, or am I wrong in assuming
that is
right.
where
that's
we put it. It's a time commitment. YouTube, we've talked about doing a few times. We even have some videos of like our egg cuttings and stuff saved on our phones just in case we ever want to post that up. But I think Instagram's been kind of like the least amount of time investment for the greatest return. I can go to the snake room, snap 20 pictures if I need to, and I have 20 days of content. Whereas, I have to sit down for a few hours and edit a YouTube video or stuff like that. So it kind of lended itself to the amount of time that we want to put into marketing. I could be doing a lot more with the skills I have from my other job, but it's a time issue right now. It's a hobby and a boutique, kind of like a hobby thing.
Yeah. Well, and everybody's time in their life that they have to apply to something is unique to that individual person. And matter of fact, their money needs as well. What would make it feasible for me to make that my full-time, to make ball pythons my full-time work is actually a pretty low number compared to what it might take for somebody else. Just because just this house I've been paying on for 15 years. So, I mean, just different stages of life and what's happened and where we're at and what people's goals were and that kind of thing. But then there's also like the personal fulfillment. I like the YouTube aspect, and that it's funny that overlapped. So like I say, I professionally, I run restaurants and I generally do for resorts and clubs. I think YouTube and Instagram and social media is the new way of advertising to sell weddings, to sell lifestyle, financial decisions, buying houses, joining a club, dining at X, place. So this journey of YouTube has really come to benefit me in those other areas. I'm submitting proposals now, and they're like, Adam, we don't even know what that means. And I'm like, I know, but your customers know what it means. You have got to get it. Like, this isn't like the future. This is now. The future is that you'll sell NFTs of their wedding day. The now is that you're going to get these brides by cultivating them when they start dreaming that they meet a new boy on the first date, that they might marry him, that they start Googling and dreaming of what it's going to be.
Yeah, that's my day job. That's my day job is putting advertisements in front of the people that are looking for the stuff. So
that's right. Well, and the cool thing is, as you well know, but everybody else may or may not, you got these not magical, they're actually quite rational, but these magical algorithms putting you in front of your audience. It's not like slapping a billboard on I-10, man, and hoping the right person drives by. They put it in front of the right, like, I get passionate about it.
Click on it. It's been a really cool, not to get too far away from ball pythons, but
yeah,
that's why I haven't transferred a lot of my energy into the ball pythons in that sense, is because I have so much fun marketing, digital marketing. It's so cool to be able to target people and get the results back and be able to change everything. It's very effective. We found that it's very efficient.
I agree, and I love it. It's a new language. It's a new it's a developing skill set. I won't even say that I have it yet, but I learned by doing. So starting a show was to learn by doing and to hit the 1,000 monetization, because I got my hours and I got every, and it's not it happened yesterday. That was 14 months of work figuring it out, but it's proven my concept. It's it's a proof of my concept. It's proven that I'm not just crazy. And I get sales from, half my sales came from YouTube and half came from Morph Market. So I might not be monetized on YouTube ad revenue, but cash flow revenue coming in from what brand I'm building is real. That was an immediate impact.
Tangible, not even just abstract brand equity that you're building, which
that's right.
You are building brand equity, and people are going to know the brand.
Yeah. And so all of that wrapped together, it's fun. I'm learning. I'm spending time with ball pythons.
Meet new people through social media.
Yeah, I'm hanging out with people in Scottsdale that maybe we'll have a beer when I come through in a new truck. I don't know. Like it's really it's a really fantastic avenue. So I like that part of it better. That like YouTube's almost more, not in a creepy way, but YouTube's more intimate, more personal than even Instagram. So like Instagram's kind of right to the point. YouTube, you can really cultivate some relationships, I hope.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I hope someday, once I kind of settle down a little bit with my other work, we can really launch something. Yeah, because it does seem like it's a good way to connect with people that are interacting with you. Like, I would love to know a lot of the people that I talk to on Instagram a lot better and have conversations like we're having right now. So it is pretty cool. And congrats on getting monetized and everything. That's amazing, man. That's a huge step. Man, thank you. Yeah, I think it's going to be like, you work so hard at this, and then the first day the number pops up, it's like, you've made $1.84 in the last 28 days, or I don't know. It's zero right now. So
The funny thing, actually, okay, so from a marketing, tech, metrics, technology standpoint, this was the funny story. So I get to the 1,000. I had surpassed the fourth. So you got to have 4,000 watch hours, 1,000 subscribers, and the watch hours have to be in a rolling 12-month calendar or a period of time for audience that might not be familiar. So I get there last night, and I'm really proud. I haven't done any, hey, everybody subscribe because I need you. I just try and put out me and put out good content. I want that connection with people. So last night at 998, I'm like, screw it. I put it on Instagram. I'm like, who's going to be 999 and 1,000? I was like, all right. So I begged for my last two, and they come through. Anyhow, I start the monetization process. You click here, you do this and that. And the funny, most ironic thing, the biggest tech company in the world, Google, right? I mean, I'm guessing they are, arguably, that knows more about everybody and knows who everybody is more than anybody. Their most secure way to ensure that I'm me is to send me a piece of paper by U.S. mail with a PIN number on it. That's what I'm waiting on. Like that's the wah 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 moment. Like I get there, I'm like, click, yes, got it. Yes, tax form, yes. So you got to wait 3 weeks for the U.S. Postal Service to deliver my piece of mail from Google.
It is. It's a pain in the ass or pain in the butt. Sorry.
I was just laughing at myself. I was like, here it is, 14 months, and now I'm going to sit here and wait for the PIN number to come. So, well, guys, I have driven the conversation a whole lot. Anything you guys want to cover or talk about that we haven't touched on yet?
I mean, no, I think, I appreciate all the questions and giving us a chance to kind of tell our story and tell what we got going on. Happy to talk about anything else. Yeah, it's awesome. Yo, what's up? What's up, Marvin?
Elegant? But yeah, not really. It's cool to see that you and us are kind of in the same time frame, because at times we feel very still new, in comparison to a lot of these people we're talking to and have seen who's been doing it for 10 to 15 years. It's already been 2 years. It hasn't even seemed like that much, but we're just getting the ball rolling and the training wheels are getting taken off, and we're just excited to see how the future is going to work out.
Yeah, I struggle with some of that a lot, actually, or I work hard not to struggle with it. Maybe that's the way. It's a little bit more positive, but it just philosophically speaking, what you were saying made me think of it. It can be really dangerous to, like, there's times that I don't watch YouTube or look at Instagram because it can feel so overwhelming. Like, wait a minute, what am I working at? Because I'm never going to catch up. And, outside of ball pythons and restaurants, I'm a musician, a professional musician. And I struggle with the same, like, imposter thing. Like, I'm making money playing covers, drinking beer in an Irish pub. What am I doing with my life? And I'm like, I'm making money playing music is what I'm doing with my life. So it swings back and forth, but that whole comparison trap, imposter syndrome, feeling like you got to catch up, feeling like you're forever behind, man, it's, as much as I love the internet, it is dangerous with the internet, man. It can be bad. So I get what you're saying, but yeah, we're neck and neck. I mean, and not in a race at all, but just like,
yeah,
exactly.
Growing. Yeah, no, it's pretty cool
we're not in any rush at all, so.
Yeah. And I go back to that, do the million little things right, and the big stuff will take care of it. The great results will come.
Yeah. And like you were speaking to earlier, I think you go and you do the things that are in front of you, and you do the one thing at a time that you need to do, whether it's looking up how to set up your LLC or open the bank account or order the racks or whatever it is that is your next
wait
step.
for the mail from Google. Yeah.
The mail from Google, whatever it is, but just, there's a next step, take it, trust yourself to do it. And when you look up, you're going to be 2,000 followers on Instagram or 1,000 followers on YouTube,
Yeah. And you're right. And Zane, you're right too. The time goes by. in some ways, these little females that I'm hatching right now, I'm like, man, I got to wait. What am I going to sit around and wait forever to be able to breed? No, it's going to go like, man, it
does go fast.
Yeah. I mean, my son's 9 right now. It's like, man, he's 9. Like, when did you turn? How? Whoa. Yeah. So it goes it goes. We do the right thing along the way.
Yeah.
So, what's the one big thing coming up for you guys? What are you like? You got any plans you're hatching? Any goals you're hatching? Shows you're going to be at? What are you working on?
I mean, well, we'd love to go to. I think we're planning on going to the next Tinley for sure. So we'll try to be there
cool.
at the next Tinley to meet as many people as we can there. And then, as far as the stakes go, it's just about getting our 2021 girls and our 2020 girls all up to size. And as soon as those girls are ready and our pastel desert ghost double het clown pied is ready, I think our projects are really going to start rolling. We have a couple of double het DG clown girls, some posset pied stuff. So looking to hit some good odds and hopefully start getting some triple recessive, some visual triple recessive stuff going on.
Man, do it. So this was who I was trying to remember earlier, Mad Mac Pythons. I appreciate you joining the show tonight. I haven't seen you before. If you've been here before, thank you, but I really appreciate that. Phil Snyder, I'm not sure what he was saying, no doubt about, but Phil has been an audience member for a long, long time. But if you check out his Instagram and talk about double recessives, he's got some cool stuff, and he's the king. Always in the comments, he's like, "Don't worry about the odds, just pair, just make it happen, just go do it, man."
Very cool.
So he's the king of telling me not to get lost in the odds, just go do it and make it happen. So let me give a quick one more quick recap. Well, we got everybody here. There's still 30 people watching, 29 people watching, an hour in. If y'all didn't hear, next week, Dr. Hannah Seidel from the Ball Python Genetics Project at the University of Michigan will be here. She's working on mapping. I'm probably going to mess up these words, and I'll let her correct me next week, but mapping a ball python genome, I think, is what it would be, but definitely isolating and describing scientifically the different genes. And she'll tell us how we could support her, including sending her sheds. That's what she needs. She needs sheds, and that's really what she's coming on the show for. We've got it for 1 hour. I get the feeling 1 hour only, so I'm going to hit it right at 8 o'clock next week and go straight into it. Thank you to everybody that has subscribed to me over the past 14 months. We passed 1,000 yesterday, and I don't intend to slow down. This is B&Z EXOTICZ with a Z at the end, not an S. B&Z EXOTICZ, Bruno and Zane out in Scottsdale, Arizona. Guys, thank you all for joining me tonight. It's been a pleasure. I appreciate it. We do this every night. Those of y'all that haven't seen, not every night. Every Tuesday night at 8 p.m., different guests. I hope you guys will come back. Let's start getting some clutches. Let's talk about where it goes. We can look back on this episode and see where we went to.
Do it, man.
A progress report. That sounds awesome.
And when you're out here to pick up your truck, hit us up, man.
I promise I will. You guys are what, an hour from Tucson, hour and a half?
Yeah, we're right next to the I-10 where you're going to be. So maybe we can meet right where it intersects, and you're going to take a trip.
If I got 1,700 miles to go, 40 in one direction ain't going to make a difference. So yeah, let's do that. Let's have a beverage in the desert. That'd be fantastic. I really appreciate it. Thank y'all for being here. And Zane, to your point, we'll kind of see where our paths go, and it'll be a cool. Cool. We won't measure or compete, but it'll be cool to drive ourselves a little bit.
Exactly.
So. Thank y'all, everybody. I'll see you all next week. Thanks to the audience. We had a killer. I think we got to 34 or 35 at one point. We even got the UK in the house tonight. Paul is here. Celtic Balls is here. Bosa Balls. I have not met you all before. Thank you all for being here as well. We've dragged out the ending long enough. Thank you all. Good night. See you next time, everybody. See you next week, next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Good night.
Good night.